And we are live, and we are actually on normal, regular cast strength time, which means that it's a good thing I made it 15 minutes early. Hang on. Live, there we go. There's the delay. So we have with us Lisa from Silver Fox Distillery and a slightly altered Vito.
Yeah. I am direct Vito.
Yep. So, and look, the evidence is there. It's the same shiny head. And yeah.
I am freshly shaven. I am ready for
tonight. So what are you drinking today, Dalek Vito?
What I like. I like to prove that I am Vito. I am Dalek Vito.
Yeah, well, there's.
I believe it is time that I prove
it. People are saying it's not really Vito because it's too tall.
Get these some whiskey to lose. It is time for a lose. What does everyone think? It is lose time.
Yeah.
We shall do this. Lose me. Lose me.
Just when you thought we'd seen the last of the Vito losers. It's exactly like Vito. Just luge and there's a small disconcerting explosion.
You should not lose when you have very large balls. It hurts when it gets that low.
Yeah, I bet it would.
It is time for me to go away. I am going to go and get intoxicated.
There we go.
Wonderful. I'm just going to quickly swap to the headset, Lisa. It'll be 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. I can hear a little bit better. Whoops. No, I can't. I lied. I didn't plug it in enough. All right. So for those who missed it, we had Dalek Vito, obviously, slightly taller. He was wearing platforms. The luge confirmed.
Yep.
And we have.
Vito did it better though.
Yeah. That's for sure. And we have with us Lisa from Silver Fox Distillery. And hopefully, provided he hasn't got caught in some wibbly wobbly bits, Mark should be joining us soon as well. Yeah. All right, guys. So welcome to Cast Strength. You'll notice that it is me in charge. Hence, we have the Australian Outback background. And for those who don't know, it is as hot as anything down here at the moment. So the bits that are not on fire are just plain hot. So I'll probably be drinking more water than whiskey today. So a quick shout out to all in the chat while everyone comes in. So we have Cask Strength Vito, whoever that person is. We have Steve A. Hey, buddy. Puffs and Drams. We've got the Wookiee wine enthusiast. It's always Wookiee. And John Gunsel's here, Benjamin Eves, and good old Paddy. How is everyone tonight? That's a much better background.
Nicer, right?
Yeah, it's Lisa. That looks a lot better.
Look, Wookiee wine enthusiast. I'd love to show you a funnel web spider, but I don't have enough fire on me at the moment. I'm good, thanks, Steve A. All right, so I only got to speak with Mark very briefly before we started this stream. So there is, as usual, a stunningly well thought out plan. and we have topics and everything.
You know, it's pretty hard when you actually have something planned at the beginning. No one's going to know this is cast strength.
No, it started on time, kind of, and there's no sound issues yet. So that's good. So briefly, when we started, you just mashed in. That's correct, right?
That's right. Yes, we did
two matches.
On what, Sunday? Sunday we did a corn mash. Now it's a moonshine, so it's a split between 50% corn, 50% sugar. And to us, a moonshine is a sugar wash with grains added to it. Now, we did what you would normally do with a grain is we put it in. We're not using it just for flavoring. We actually did get the sugars out of it. So we brought it up, sacrificial run, and we actually sacrification run. Sorry, sacrificial. Well, we brought it up. We added the amylase. We converted all the starches to sugar, and once we did that, then we added the sugar. So most moonshiners or that type of a sale item will be just the corn or the oats will be used for flavoring. That's it. They don't even convert it. They just throw it in and hopefully get some flavor out of it, and it's basically a sugar wash. We're halfway to a whiskey. The moonshine is a big part of what people want, so that's something we are going for. Plus, it's got to sit in a whiskey, has to sit in a barrel for 3 years, so we have to do something for the first little while.
and it does. I guess it gives you another avenue outside of vodka and gin for your short-term turnaround stock as well.
Well, yeah, we pitched the oat shine yesterday, and our moonshine is actually a mixture of 3 grains. So we do that, but we are barreling as well. So we got the barrel sitting over there, ready to be filled. We do have a vodka set up. We have a gin set up, and Lisa here's the big gin person, so she's going to be doing all our gin recipes.
If ever you need a very worldly taster, just send it on down, Lisa. I'm a big fan of a gin and tonic, especially in weather like this. So gin is
yeah. And you know what? It's funny because we both have quite different tastes as far as gin goes. We both enjoy gin. Yeah. Lisa very much heads towards the heavier juniper and the citrus and that sort of thing.
Yep.
But she still enjoys my side of it, which is the lighter juniper and the floral. So, we're looking at a nice rose gin, hibiscus gin. She's going for some, the lilac gin there? Or lavender.
Oh yeah. So I had from a local, not far from me, a lavender gin about 3 weeks ago, in fact, and that is a delightful beast because you get all the floral notes, but the lavender doesn't hit until well into the aftertaste. It's as far as gins go, it's quite an experience. So.
Right. Yeah, you stay here for a bit. I'm gonna go shut that off.
Your heater. It's hard to hear you.
No. It's look. I can send some heat over your way if you'd like. We've got plenty of it.
All these windows.
But it's great for when the light is there, though. I'm sure.
It is.
So we've already got some people asking when you're looking at opening up.
Last Saturday.
Last Saturday was the day we were hoping to.
There you go.
But, we had to postpone our opening because of boiler issues and a couple other things. So we are mashing in now, and as soon as we have everything ready to run the big stills, we'll do that. The 21st I believe is going to be our absolute deadline. We're really hoping for that.
We want to have stuff out before Christmas.
If I have to, now if I use the big stills and I can run 2,600 liters out of the big stills, and that size of run would take me about 5 hours.
Yep.
If I have to use my little recipe still in the back room in the lab, that's 100 liter, and it takes 7 to 8 hours per run.
Over and over again.
So you could fill a barrel by Christmas if you start now.
It may be if I start now, yeah.
All right. So
we're not. We've decided that tonight, because we are talking local events,
yep.
we're going to have local. Now, what are you having tonight?
So I have, of all things, a port, which is local to here. So actually made up at Sirame. And I've got some Ardbeg Ugadal in a glass as well. So, yeah.
All right, so we're going for local. The distilleries are all local and good friends of ours. You know, we have Murphy's Apple Pie Moonshine tonight. We've got Dylan's Rye, which is a 3-year-old cask release.
Ooh, lovely.
And the Reunion Moonshine, which this one is actually a maple moonshine. That's 100 proof. And then we have Wolf's Head, which is a coffee liqueur. So, what do you feel like? I don't care. Pick one. Murphy's. All right, we're going for apple pie.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Now, before
There we go.
but before those,
That says high class, like a screw top mason jar.
I got mine from the very colloquial goon sack of port, which is just basically boxed wine style. And for those who aren't aware, port is a protected term for some places, except in Australia, where we make basically the same product, call it port, and it's not a protected name.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're good at.
So we can't see any of the comments, so you're going to have to speak out for those.
Yep. No. So I can do some nice little tricks. Like I can make a wild veto appear on the screen, but I can also throw up the odd comment if as well. So you've got Benjamin Eves there saying that we had a local distillery doing a lavender gin. It was a nice gin, etc. So yeah. So if you have questions, I mean we've had distillers on obviously with. Robert Licorice and stuff like that as well. Definitely, if you've got questions, ask, because we've got the lovely Mark on. It's obviously a very different setup up there as well, very different market. Yeah.
Now, do you know why? Have you ever been told why we called this place Silver Fox?
Because you're a very young person and you're probably going to be silver-haired when it's all ready.
Yeah. No, old as shit didn't fit on the window.
Yeah. See, I was being nice.
Why start now?
I got to lull the other people into a false sense of security.
Yeah, but I've watched you. I know.
It's all an elaborate ruse. Okay, here we go. We've got. I've got to wait for it to come up before I can throw it up. But I call him the Wookiee, but it is the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast. How does the same mash bill translate from one small still to the larger still? So, obviously, the recipe still, like, how does that relate to the big still?
You know, logically, you would think it's just scalable. Throw everything into a percentage and scale it up. It's nowhere near the truth. And unfortunately, it comes down to if you're after a specific flavor. So in our homemade still, it's a 2-inch column, and that is if I throw the same mash into that, it's a completely different flavor than if I throw it into our 4-inch column. And going to our 12-inch column, we don't know, no clue, but we know from their flavor profile what we tend to have to adjust. So do we have to bring the corn up, or do we have to adjust the oats or whatever? But, it's our recipe calls for 3 grains. We're going to run each. Once again, the Canadian way to do this, the American way and most of the other world is to throw all 3 grains into a big barrel and let it go. The Canadian way tends to be ferment everything separately and distill everything separately. It's what Canada's well known for. So we are going to do that in the beginning for sure. But because of the design of our still system, we are still going to ferment separately. We're going to throw it in the still separately. But our still is vapor infuse capable. So we can load lots up and then just have it vapor infuse and get it in the column.
Nice. Because I know Starwood down in Melbourne has done something similar with their twofold, as in
Yep.
two completely actually distilled in different sites as well, and then blended and put into the barrel and aged. And yeah, it is a very different beast from putting the mashes together and distilling it as such and going that way. So yeah, be interesting to see the experimentation.
Yeah, we've done the multi-green mash bill. Like we did a barley, corn, and rye, and we mixed all in the mash tun, and we tried that. And we also did the exact same thing separately, because what we wanted to do was do the comparison. What's that final flavor going to be? So when you homogenize all the grains together, you're going to get a flavor, and it's a pretty decent flavor. That's what a lot of the Kentucky boys are doing, and they're quite successful. Whereas we found that when you actually distill them separately or vapor infuse them, you get completely different flavors. And the thing is, the strength of the individual grain retains a lot further. So when you pour it out of the bottle into your glass, you're actually capable of distinguishing the three grains in there, which is kind of neat.
Would that also give you the ability for, and you'll have to forgive some ignorance here, but would that give you the ability to do, say, a really, really long ferment on rye and do a really big run of rye, for example, even though you may only be using 5% in the end of the blend, basically bottle that, for want of a better word, to blend in later batches so that you've got that extra bit of time to give each grain the best ferment time, best yeast to get the flavor profiles you might not be able to out of a mix.
Right. Well, once again, it depends on how you're talking about it. We ferment down to, we do specific gravities, pH, and all that. So we're a little more on the scientific end, so we can watch our grains a little better. But we do typically we take a fermentation down to either 1.00 on the specific gravity scale, or at a 0.999 if we can. So that's fermented out as best as possible. The specific gravity of water is 1.000, so that's what we're looking for. If we're a little bit higher, that's the yeast aren't going any further. We're not going to force them. We'll run it through the still. And then we're going to collect it in 1,000-liter totes, and we're going to collect them separately. So we'll have a tote of corn, tote of wheat, and a tote of the oats, and then we'll do our blending from that.
Lovely. So you basically, you don't have to have the grains play nice with each other. You can just have the grains do what they want to do, ferment when they want to ferment, do their thing, and worry about it all later.
Yeah, because that allows us the ability, when we do, we can cater our recipes. We do a lot of liqueurs here, so maybe this liqueur requires more oats than any corn. In our moonshine, we want to bring that wheat in there. The oat and the corn is great, but when we add that wheat, it gives it that really back complexity, which we enjoy ourselves. So having them separate allows us to play with it. Now, when we do our wheat is always done as a straight grain mash. We don't do a moonshine in the wheat. It just doesn't hold up that well. So, and also, when we are serious into barreling, we'll be doing straight corn mashes and straight oat mashes, and with the rye or the wheat, we'll be barreling everything straight. I'm never going to put a sugar wash in a barrel.
Yep. No, that's. You're not even a little bit tempted to put a sugar wash in a barrel just to see what happens for shits and giggles?
Yeah, I've tried once again. We've tried the stave route where you get the container, you throw some wood chips into it, and you did that. the sugar interacts poorly with the wood, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I never ever had one I liked the flavor out of. And I thought I was just doing something wrong with the staves. The staves are actually a pretty decent way for someone to do things. You know, you take a little piece, it's charred, it's toasted, you put it in there and you leave it for a while, and it actually works well in a straight grain mix. So, you know, it's a way of adding age to a young spirit. So if you're buying the whiskey from the shop, first time trying it, it's a young spirit, 5, 6 years old, and you taste it and you're going, ooh, this is, you know, not quite. Throw a small stave, just a small one, in there. Try it first, sample it off in a separate jar, but try it. And the stave only needs to be in there sometimes for only 5 days. And the flavor profile is changed dramatically. If you leave it for longer, then after the 5-day period, you're probably looking at leaving it for about a year, because from the 5 days, it's pulled out those little sugars at the top. And now after that, it's starting to pull the wood flavor. So, I mean, you could end up, you know, at 10 days, you could end up with a glass full of oak.
Yeah, and then you sort of got to wait for the tannics to sort of oxygenate away, but that's not the right word. But yeah, because I know the interaction with oxygen and moving in and out of the barrel kind of hits the tannic flavors over time. So.
Yeah, and it's not just the oxygen. It's what really makes the difference, and this is why you'll find different places have at different times for maturity. So in Scotland, where it's basically the same temperature as Ontario here, you end up with having to age things longer to get them darker and to get more of the tannins and the vanillins out of the wood. Whereas if you go into Texas, where they have huge temperature swings and high temperatures down to low, they have a 6 or an 8 year old spirit in like about a year and a half.
Mm. Yeah, the color is absolutely phenomenal that they get in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. So where that really comes from is because they get such a high heat into there, is the wood fibers are actually degrading. So if you ever looked at your wood deck, and you put it all together this year, you didn't stain it. Next year you look at it and it's all gray and everything else from all the UV. That's happening inside your barrel to some degree. And that's what's providing your biggest flavors.
And that's also why we don't age whiskey in tropical Queensland. But yeah, no, so it's interesting the way that it goes from pleasant when you're doing it, because I've tasted some of the oak stave testy stuff in the past. It's interesting how it goes from really pleasant in a short amount of time to this is pleasant again. Over, it's
yeah. There's that whole center section that makes it taste like you're sucking on a tree. You're not enjoying anything else. Yeah, we've tried it. So we're switching over. We're going to go with Reunion Moonshine Maple.
Yep. Now, does that mean that it's a maple syrup base, as in using the maple sugars, or?
No, it's a maple additive, and it'll be done after. They have a White Lightning as well, which is 100 proof. I think this is too. No, it's not. It's 30 proof. Wow, that's off. So they make a White Lightning. It's 100 proof, and I'm not a. You know what? We all like different things. I'm not a big fan of their 100 proof stuff, but I'm willing to give them a try for other things. So we tried this maple one, and it's fantastic. It's the same spirit, but the maple syrup has really smoothed it out and made it quite acceptable. And this is actually in Brad's back door.
Oh, that's.
Now I would have some if I can open the lid.
It's that maple syrup additive.
Yeah. It's all that sticky stuff.
So that's kind of a question that I don't know has been asked before. I know that maple sugar exists, so maple sugar made from maple syrup.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans on messing with that on the fermenting side, or is it just not practical due to cost prohibition or yeast interaction, or?
Yeah, the cost is prohibitive. you know, when it comes out of the tree, it's really, it's just a light sugar water.
Yep.
You know, and that's why the maple syrup people are boiling it with wood. And although if you're at nighttime when you're driving around, wherever those maple syrup stills are, you can always smell burning tires. I don't know what that is.
It's burning tires. It's a cheap fuel source.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. So there's a heavy draw during the day. They do beautiful hardwood burns, but yeah. So that's what they do it with wood, because it's just so to boil that down and concentrate it. So same with us. We do have 2 maple products that we're going to be doing, and both are additives afterwards.
Yep. So is getting the raw sap or the maple direct before it's boiled down, is that actually a possibility, or everyone's just going into their sugar shacks and making syrup?
Well, yeah, for us, to get the maple water, well, we tend to probably go. We have, I don't know if you're aware of Amish and Mennonites. Do you understand those terms?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the heart of Amish country and Mennonites, which when I was building the Daleks and the horse and buggy were going by my driveway, it was always a good time. You should have seen how fast that horse ran one time when I was in the Dalek and started leaving.
Yeah. No, that would not have been a fun time for the poor horse.
No. He was really well taken. You know, he was good, but he was going pretty quick. And whenever he came by the house after that, he always came by on the opposite side of the street. I don't know why.
Can't imagine.
So yeah, so we would go to a Mennonite to a farm, and actually, you know, one of our goals is to be zero waste in here. The only thing that we will exempt ourselves from are our little sampling cups.
Yeah, and that's obviously hygiene and convenience.
It's a one-time use.
Yeah.
We could do the glass in a dishwasher, but no. So yeah, and they get recycled. Yeah. So all our grains. Yesterday they went to a goat farmer, and we got some beautiful goat cheese over here.
Oh, lovely!
Some fresh goat cheese. They will be going to a cattle farmer soon, and he also does maple syrup.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking, 600 pounds of grain, I'm pretty sure you can give me maybe 10 pounds of syrup.
Yeah. The
barter system will work. The animals are happy. They get high quality feed, and our customers get maple syrup, and we can keep our costs down. Yeah.
No, fantastic.
Now, if I got really fancy, you see me looking out the windows here. 1, 2. There's 4 trees right there I could tap.
So just literally tree to glass. Just tree to glass. That's straight in.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But maple, that's the higher sugar cane. Yeah, Canada's well known for its, Canada's not the only country in the world that makes maple sap, but it's well known for it.
Yeah. It's like any product, just where the trees grow, they're gonna do it, aren't they?
Yep.
So, all right. So, I actually do have some stuff to go through cask strength wise. Oddly enough, so you get to be theoretically the first person that hears about it because of the delay, Mark. So for those who don't know,
you can bleep out things.
Oh yeah. For those who don't know, I am also moderator on the Whiskey Tribe, as well as obviously cask strength moderator and sometimes person who's on here. One thing that constantly we see is, hey, what a wonderful collection. I wish I could build a collection like that. And it's generally coming from people who are 20 years my junior, and obviously, only 15 years Lisa's junior and 40 years Mark's junior. You know,
You're so polite tonight.
so I'm sort of in a unique position where most of my collection has been drained over the course of the last 12 months. So I'm looking at getting a collection, and I have given myself the challenge to do a $20 a week, so that's Australian dollar, a week whiskey collection challenge. So everything, so glassware, bottles of whiskey, everything will come out of a $20 a week budget, basically to simulate what someone getting into whiskey may be able to extend budgetary wise and to build a collection from.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of thinking, you know what? He's not from Canada. You can tell that because $20, you're not drinking this month.
No, so the Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar are effectively on par because, you know, we have the same lady on our money.
Well, right. The only difference is our government, ours likes to take 75% on top of our prices.
Yeah. We're not that far behind. So for most things, so a Johnny Walker, just a plain Johnny Walker red label, you're looking at around $30 out of the store, 30, 35. So yeah, it's going to be difficult because all of the stuff I like is definitely not $30, $35.
No. And you know what? It's funny when we were setting up for this video, in our back private room is, you know, half of my liquor collection. The other half is at home. And we have some incredible picks back there. The STL, the Ardbeg Drum, the Lafroigs, what was that? What's that one I was going to grab? 21-year-old Gwen Farkless, which, that was fantastic. So, you know, we actually, I had those in my hand, and I'm going, you know what? This is, you're talking about a local distillery, and let's talk about the local drams. And I love some of the stuff that these places are putting out are incredible. I don't have to spend $300 on a bottle to get something I like. You know, that one there, that's a very drinkable dram. Once again, it's not an old aged whiskey. I'm not that much of a snob that I can drink almost anything. And that's what, that was $32. The Wolf's Head is one of our favorites. It's a coffee liqueur. It is fantastic.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that's about $38. So this one here, we've gone through 4 bottles in the last 2 years, and that's a lot for us. I mean, we typically before we opened up a distillery, we hardly ever drank. So a bottle like this could be in our cupboard for 10 years.
Well, see, it's not drinking now, Mark. It's merely market research.
That's what I said to her.
It's competition analysis. Yeah, competition analysis and market research.
That's it. You know, yes, dear, I know it's from Scotland, but it's relevant.
Yeah,
I'm a little more expensive. I want to go to Scotland to try it.
Look, but you know what? Our tastes change over the years too, which is really kind of funny. I always, to some degree, drank a Scotch, although I used to be a rum person. And about 5 years ago, I started to enjoy Scotch. And of course, McKellen, the Highland Park, so the Speysides, the Highlands. And I was just starting to get into the Islas last year. And I thought, let's have a joke. Because Lisa, 8-9 years ago, Lisa couldn't touch anything like this. No straight spirit.
I would choke.
She'd choke. She'd be gone. So last year, I poured her Lafroig, or it was the Ardbeg. The Ardbeg. And it was heavy peat, iodine, all that.
Guess what?
All its glory.
You loved it.
I'm a heavy peat person.
Yep, it is. it is actually super surprising how many people have been hooked by Ardbeg or one of the other heavily peated whiskies, and how many people say it's really stupid to suggest someone try one of the peated whiskies as a first whiskey. It just shows just how subjective people's tastes are and stuff like this.
Yeah, it's we had a young lad. We were at a Christmas party the other day, and we had a young lad who's just starting into it. And of course, he had mentioned that as he didn't know me. He just sat beside me and he ordered a scotch. I said, "Oh, what scotch did you get?" And well, first thing I said is, "How do you do whiskey?" And then he says, "Scotch." Okay, that's fine. So I didn't get the answer. I know he's not watching the videos.
Yep.
So from there we went, and we just started talking, and it's by the end of it, we acted up a good evening. And once again, he's just starting, so he's sipping into the Highlands. We had a Glenmorangie, and we tried a few other things, and we enjoyed them. And I invited him out because when someone comes out, I'm not going to say, "Don't drink this Ardbeg, you'll hate it." I'm going to give you a very small shot of it, like a tenth of an ounce. And if you don't spit it out, then you may want to explore it a bit further.
Yep. And it's one of those ones that you can sit in the glass quite happily, have an hour and a half long conversation, get back to it, and all it's done is just gain an interest. It doesn't lose anything. It just gets better and better.
And the really neat thing is, after 5 minutes of this sitting on the counter, my nose has forgotten what it was.
and with that,
it wants to go back for another sniff. It's if I pour a really nice cask strength and it's sitting about 62%. There's been times where I've spent a good portion of the evening sniffing the horror out of it, and by the time I get to it, it's probably a 40%.
Yeah. I can relate all too well, and the other favorite I like is if I've been having a business meeting with Brad, and I don't know if you're aware, some of our business meetings may have gone for about 16 hours. Have you
ever been in his basement?
No, I have actually yet to step foot on the North American continent. Full stop.
Yeah, we went and we hijacked Brad for a distillery tour. So we went in. Top shelf. We grabbed him. We took him down. We did the distillery tour. We had a blast in that, and it's really fun because we didn't really know what to expect. It was a last minute arrangement, and the tour guide was 17 years old. The company, the owners of the company, a year and a half prior, snagged him out of a McDonald's drive-thru.
And
just
went back for him to get him to be able to work there.
Yep.
Nice.
So the caveat was he couldn't be in the serving area. He wasn't old enough, so he couldn't be where they sell it. But he could make it.
Yep.
He wasn't allowed to taste it, but he could bottle it. He could make it and everything else. But yeah, he was a smart kid. He was pretty amazing. We had a good time with him. We teased him a bit, but we had fun. Then we went back to Brad's place, and he thought we were just dropping him off, and I looked at him and said, "I'm not leaving here until I go in your closet." So we get into his closet, and I'm looking, oh. And we didn't have a single thing.
The amount of times that Vito bemoans not having something that he has wanted to try, because every time he goes there, he gets distracted to the point where he completely forgets what he was going to try. I can imagine. Brad, Brad, I know you're watching. You need to do a vault update, by the way. And look, you've got an open invite too, Mark. He's literally said, "Come on down anytime. You know where it is." Yep.
And this time when we go in, Brad, this time open a freaking bottle. We won't ask. You have to offer.
They're Canadian. They're too polite. So yeah. For those who don't know, Brad's actually currently dead at the moment with the flu or a cold, one of the two. So he's about half a bottle of Ardbeg and cough syrup down, I think.
Yeah, we think he's under some infested blankets dropped off by the cult. We're not quite sure.
No, I think he got inoculated for those already because he was at cult headquarters not long ago.
And hence the reason why the
Hey,
one and one makes two.
That's it. There you go. So everything's up for grabs. They have the spare room because driving home won't be an option. There you go, Mark. How and I have seen April's cooking. I can only imagine it tastes half as good as it looks, and you're still going to walk away with a full belly and a mild hangover. How could you?
Yeah, we get down there about 2 or 3 times a year in the summer. Lisa's parents have a farm just north of Brad, so
Yep.
yeah, we do get down there.
Oh, lovely. So there you go. I know I've got an invite, but apparently it's a little bit out of my way. It's only like 26 hours on an aircraft.
Yeah, your point.
And
we've had other Aussies here.
so I will be there at some stage this year. Not this year, next year. Probably around the September-ish. And I've just got to try and cram as much as I can in a 2 to 3 week period.
Are you coming up here before you head to Texas?
I hope to. I haven't got like permanent plans, but ideally, I would probably, just to avoid a lot of stuff, try and fly into New Jersey from Colt headquarters up to Brad's and then down into Texas that way, which sounds like an ass-about way of doing things, but it actually kind of works out well with the way planes work. So,
no, it's perfectly logical to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Colt, the Brad, that's pretty much the Colt too, and then down to Vito, and over to me. So yeah, you get a good bounce there.
I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? I get good company and an empty wallet.
Yeah, that'd be the worst. The best is good company and a full wallet.
I think either way, I'm going to be right at the limit with how much I can bring back anyway. So,
yeah. So that means when you get to here, you're going to have to drink because you're going to be buying the other bottles down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you should be forewarned. I come from German heritage. I'm 6th or 7th generation Australian, and I'm half Dutch. So my liver is really stubborn as well.
Yeah. Well, that means you have a good tolerance. Not quite Canadian, but good tolerance.
I've been in German bars till closing, and they've been amazed. So I figure I've either got hollow legs or a tolerance.
That's German has a pretty decent tolerance. Canadian, you need to have a good tolerance to survive the weather.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hear it's cold out there.
Minus 20 tonight and 3 degrees on weekend.
Yeah.
So it's about 42 outside at the moment.
That's not bad.
Proper temperatures. Yeah, Celsius.
Oh, 42 Celsius.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to visit you.
It is very much summer.
Like, seriously?
The cold weather, there's an advantage here. I can always get dressed for the cold.
Yeah.
Legally, I can only take off so much for the heat, and morally, even more.
There are certain places in Australia where you only need your thongs, but you flip-flop thongs and a thong, and you're still acceptably dressed. It's okay.
Speaking of which, did the boys tell you about Ardbeg Day?
I've heard bits about it, bits and pieces.
So we met up and we had a really nice evening before there, and I thought, okay, we're going to a Scottish event. I'm going to wear my kilt, and that's fine. I wear it fairly often. And I have evidently put on a bit of weight since the last time I wore it.
It's shrunk. It's shrunk over time. It's always shrunk.
Yeah, you did. And of course, we lost track of Vito and them in front of us, so we parked and we'd never been to the place before, so we parked way down the road. I get out and I start walking, and I flash a few girls, and I'm going, yeah, maybe I'll change over to pants. So here I am in a parking lot, buck naked, and trying to put some pants on. And my buddy looks up and he says, you do realize security's watching on the camera, right? I said, well, hope they don't see too much.
If they want to see your beautiful silvery fox legs, then that's their own prerogative.
You know what? No one ever told me, and I'll tell everyone right now if you're younger, no one will ever tell you gray doesn't stop on top of your head.
Oh, no. I'm aware of that.
No. It keeps going.
My first gray hairs were not in this area. In fact, it's now onto the coffee liqueur.
Coffee liqueur, yes, the Wolfhead.
Oh, lovely. Now, have you tried making a tiramisu with it yet?
A what?
A tiramisu, the Italian.
Oh, no, not with this. No.
Oh.
Oh, you don't want to know what she thought you said.
Oh, no, you can say it. I'm Australian. We don't have limits.
No. What she would have done with your Australian body wouldn't have been good.
For her or me?
Oh, I don't think you can be too surprised. You got freaking animals with pouches.
Hey, we've got mammals that lay eggs. It's a bit messed up down here.
That's the one advantage of Canada. We don't have anything really poisonous up here. It all dies in the winter.
Yeah. No, we just have whatever has survived long enough, all of the poisonings, to get to this point. So you're screwed when you walk outside. There's basically warning labels on your front door that says everything will kill you. Good luck.
Yeah. Now, and this is off topic, but we were out having dinner the other day, and my daughter and my son were there, and we're enjoying our dinner, and he pops up this label, this picture. He says, "This is my next tattoo," and evidently all four of us are now getting this tattoo. It was a picture. It's a round circle with a sloth hanging out of it. It says, "Live slow, die whenever."
Yep. There's a bikie club called the Ulysses Club down here, and you have to be over 50 to join it. And their motto is "Grow old disgracefully." But you've got to be over 50 to become a junior member, and over 60 to be a full member. And it's and those boys,
we have a very similar club here. You have to be over 55, and they're called the Retreads.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, as Steve A has correctly said, eat right, exercise, die anyway.
My favorite was always exercise, jog, get hit by a truck.
Yep.
So for us, it was we got to a point where it's funny. I grew up in Cape Breton. And now Cape Breton, for those who don't know, is on the very east coast of Canada. And we call it the Maritimes, and it comprises of a couple of provinces, not a few provinces. But it's a very, when figure Alabama without the drawl. And, it's a very laid back, loving community style of people. They very much cherish Celtic music. Every house has a kitchen bigger than any other part of the house because that's where everyone comes over, sits and plays these instruments. And so that's the type of community I grew up in. By the age of 13, I ran into my cousins out in the woods, and I soon after that learned how to make a still. So, this has been an ongoing thing for a long time. And the wife and I, we're getting silver. We were looking, and we're both very active people. And unfortunately, if we do stop, we're like that rock. As soon as that rock stops, it doesn't move again until you push it. So we've learned that we need to have something that pushes us. And we were just thinking, and we were snowballing one day, and she said, why don't we do a brewery? And I said, you know what? We buy a 6-pack in the spring. We still got 1 or 2 in the fall. I said, let's do a distillery. There's an idea. I said, it is hard work. It keeps you going. 90% of your day is going to be cleaning, which that's fine. That's, you can live with that. And there'll be a lot of interaction with people, which we love that idea, and it gives us something well into retirement. We can, it is self-sufficient that we could do up all our work ahead of time and leave it for almost a month under the care of employees and managers. But it is also something that will get us out of bed every morning.
Yep. And it keeps your mind active, like not just the mathematical side of it when you're talking about your ratios and all of that fun stuff, but also you wake up in the morning and go, crap, why hasn't anyone done XYZ grain with
That's where Lisa's loving that.
Experimental part.
Yeah, I wake up at 2 in the morning and go, oh my God, I forgot that. So there's always that side of it too.
So other than obviously the end aim is a whiskey, or are you looking at something different, or?
The Gambit, when we designed the still, we designed it to do everything or have the ability to do everything. Our totes that we use presently are going to be converted in a couple of years to double thumpers. So we can actually run our still as a double thumper rum still.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so that's, you can't get, I don't believe personally you can get a decent, thick, oily rum flavor without running it through a thumper that's infused.
Can you do a maple syrup rum?
Rum is typically from a cane.
Well, rum is a sugar. It's a cane
Yeah,
sugar.
because you can do a cane sugar, because we make a lot of cane sugar here for, like, we've got Bundaberg rum up here. I have seen a beet sugar based rum, and that was surprisingly pleasant.
That actually really is good. I've had a beet vodka as well.
Yeah. So.
Oh, it's not here, Hound.
Oh, Hound, the black Hound?
Yeah.
That's a beet? Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, no, sorry. We were just talking. We picked up a black vodka the other day, and this stuff is pure black.
Lovely. And beet sugar based, is it? So beet based.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Oh, that'd be lovely. Ooh.
Yeah, it is. It is nice. It's not our favorite, but we do have a favorite that's incredible.
And it's local.
It is local. It's a locally done one. He does a knockout job with it. But it's once again, we designed to do everything except for tequila. I am not ever going to drink tequila again.
Same boat, don't worry. I can't tell. Like, it goes back to university days, and I'm not quite sure if it was the fish, the Skittles, or the tequila.
Yeah, it was the tequila. Trust me.
It was.
I've got partial memories of nights of margaritas that I really don't know what the hell happened the rest of the night. Oh, yeah. So down where you are, we have a liqueur called B&B, Benedictine and Brandy.
Yep.
Have you tried it?
Yep.
I love liqueurs. I got hammered bad on that one.
Yep.
Yep. She took me for a very long walk that night. Nope.
That was when we were going out.
And obviously he didn't make too much of a bad impression on you.
Nope.
Not that night.
Not
Not that.
He doesn't remember anything. I walked him around, and all he did was giggle the whole time.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a happy giggler when I'm that way.
At least, yeah.
I was gonna
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
When he's feeling good, he
Yeah,
giggles.
yeah, I'm a giggler.
He's not a,
But
if you're going to be a distiller, you may as well be a happy drunk, right?
exactly. So, talking about when she first met me, we had met, but we'd arranged to go for a motorcycle ride, and she had her own motorcycle. She had a little 400cc, and I had the Goldwing. And we're talking 1985. Yeah. So now you're talking about impressions. Her impression of me wasn't so great yet.
I liked his bike.
So we meet up at a friend's house. She pulls up, and I'm already there. And she goes to him. She says, "I can't drive my bike, and can I go with one of you guys?" She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Hop on his." And I don't think she saw me.
I liked his bike.
She liked my bike.
That's all you need sometimes, and that would have been the early V6 Goldwing as well, wouldn't it? One of the early V6
No,
ones.
still a 4-cylinder.
Still the 4. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Where is it? Oh, it's in the trailer. No. Well, it was there a month ago.
I know, it was right behind us a month ago.
Oh, it got cold. It needed to go in the trailer.
It went in the trailer with the MGB.
It's
Yep.
hard for the winter.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
it's a 1980 Goldwing, and I've had it ever since '80.
No, well, it's brought you good luck.
Now I've bought you too.
Yes. I have a Venture Royale.
Oh, nice. And I'm looking at getting back, but onto a Triumph. I had a Shadow 750 for ages.
Nice.
Last of the chain drive, and that was glorious because anything bigger and it just wasn't rideable in the city because I used it every now and then to commute. So
We got a lot of around here. So.
all right. Well, we have been going for about an hour-ish, which is
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow. What the hell? We didn't touch on a whole lot of the topics we were thinking of.
that
Yep, yeah, it's true, I guess.
yeah that just means we'll have to have you on again, or we'll have to send someone to you.
Well,
and
I'm
do it that
pretty
way.
sure there's something going on there. We'll have a chat with them. But you know what, guys? The rest of you that are watching as well. If you don't mind us hanging out, we'd love to come. Anytime you're short someone, just give us a shout.
We'll do. We'll add you to the roster per se.
That'd be good. We'll be happy with it.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Dalekito was shaking his head over there. I don't know why.
I did watch.
It's because no one's poured him another drink for a while. All right. So for everyone that is left, thank you very much for tuning in and all of that. Thank you very much, Mark and Lisa. It has been an absolute delight. And I
got to have something to say goodbye with.
yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, you're done.
The lady knows her limits, and that is to be respected and commended.
Yes.
So to cheers all of you, and hopefully, Mark, not only will I get to see you again, but I'll actually have a drink with you in real life.
Excellent. To all the good friends and all the good neighbors, thank you for joining us.
All right, see you guys.